Hello and welcome back to the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast. I'm your host, Nick Parker. And as always, this podcast is brought to the good people of Lee Summit by our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit. They are your home for enlightened style shades. They're also, as you know, over the years, you've heard me say this, they are your home for those robot shades. If you want the smart stuff, you want to, tell your Alexa device, your Google, Apple, whatever you've got, you can you can control your blinds through those things, but you can get them right there at Budget Blinds. They're also a home for really most of your home decor needs. I've got a throw pillow that we designed and printed there, and they made. It's pretty awesome. So when you're ready to make your home a smart home, go see our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit right in downtown. Tell them Nick sent you. Okay, I'm looking forward to this one. This show this week is fun for me. It's about toys. I love toys, and one of the cool things about, the weird life that I have is I get to meet random people around town and doing things. And right here in Bridge Space is a relatively new business member here of this co-working space. It's Phillori Phigures, Phil and Lori. So you can put that together for Phillori. They do custom Lego figures, and I'm going to learn a whole lot more today, but I'm excited. And the big question I'm really going to get answers is, when do I get to play with Legos in their office? Because that's really what I want to know. Welcome to the show, Phil. Welcome, Lori.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
This, when I first heard that you guys were coming out, I was like, well, how do you have a Lego business when you're not Lego?
Correct.
And then Colin, who runs Bridge Space here, just kind of told me a little bit about some of the custom work that you guys do. I am the king of accidental business success. and for myself, I use air quotes with success. But how do you guys run it? How do you start? Like, where does the idea come from that we're gonna kind of try to make a living?
Yeah,
playing with toys.
So like you, complete accident. This came from boredom during COVID. Right?
I can feel that.
And so here's what happened is that we were, locked up in our house like everyone else. And I was watching, I think it was The Tonight Show. And they had a celebrity on there who was talking about building sets, Lego sets. And just like she was building it and then donating them to charity. Because it wasn't really about collecting for her. It was about just building. And I was like, that sounds like fun. But I'm, greedy. So I wasn't about to give away my toys. But no. I got a couple sets and built them. And I realized I really like displaying them and coming up with a creative display. But the problem is they don't come with enough characters. So I found that you can buy just the minifigures, just the characters, and there's a whole world of people collecting just the minifigures. And so after a while, I went on eBay, it's really expensive on eBay. And so I started looking for cheaper options. And finally I made a friend, who, yes, they're in China, but they're we're friends.
Which is one of those things that happened with the pandemic, right? It's
exactly.
We all of a sudden making friends. It doesn't matter where.
It doesn't matter where. Yeah. So we got to chatting and they're yeah, we have the machines that are necessary. It's mold injection. So they have to have special machines that they make the pieces. And they've got the machines. And so they're if we can come up with a design, we can make them. And so they make all of our characters. And we base them off of pop culture stuff, right? Things that they can mass produce.
So you are not, I want to make sure we're clear on this. You're not taking existing figures and just painting them and no. You are actually designing custom figures.
Yes.
And we do not say that we have Legos. We have we focus on minifigures, not the blocks, and we don't call them Legos in anything that we handout or any. I don't want anybody listening that might be affiliated with Lego
Well,
to start coming
you just
after.
made some attorneys sad because now they can't come after you.
Yeah.
Right. We don't say we're Legos. We're custom minifigures.
But it's all compatible with Lego sets.
Yes, they work with Lego sets.
And so we make what is really popular and people really enjoy is finding the character that they like, right? And that became our thing. And so it came from, I started with just Star Wars. Like, I really like Star Wars and I like all the characters and I like all the crazy characters. Like, everyone loves Boba Fett and you know, but I got into clone.
Are you a Jar Jar Binks fan?
I am not a Jar Jar Binks hater.
I feel like that's the line, right?
That there are true fans, yes, and but like I can start naming you a lot of the clone troopers,
Right.
And I got into all the different clone troopers, and so I had to have every single character in a minifigure, and I can't edit, so like I couldn't say no to any of them. So before I knew it, I had huge displays of just minifigures, and then my wife Lori, being very supportive.
Well, he also would see some possibility of a Marvel, and he loves Marvel movies, of course. So
Yes.
it was Star Wars first, and then we got into Marvel, and then, well, why not DC? And when we first started, that's basically what we had. And I was like, well, what about kids who don't like superheroes or Star Wars? Can we do some like Disney type ones, or, you know? So that's how we kind of expanded a little bit. And pretty soon my kitchen table was filled with stuff. My dining room table was filled with stuff. And that's kind of how the business was born. Yeah. I started making the pictures that we do because I like crafting. So that's kind of.
Well, talk a little bit about that, because I think we can all visualize, you know, the character you're making characters that we all know and love. I'm hoping there's some Transformers ones coming soon that really will get to my nerddom. But tell me about the art and the framing and the pictures that you're doing, because that's a little different, and it's kind of cool.
Oh, I think it started because I saw a picture somewhere that had different superheroes, and it said, my dad is like brave like Captain America, strong like the Hulk, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, I can do that with the Legos. So that was the first one I did for somebody for Father's Day. And then I just kept thinking of things that I could do with the like I think the second one was maybe with Yoda, and it was Yoda Best. So things I could give as gifts to people. And that's how I got started. I have fun coming up with what to put inside the frames. And
are your frames out of blocks, or are you doing other different things? What are you?
They are not made out of blocks. The frames can't come apart, and the figures, I almost messed up there. The figures are glued in, so you can't take them out and play with them. I get that question a lot, but
yeah, so like one of our more popular ones is just real simple, is Han Solo and Princess Leia, and it just says, I love you, I know. And like,
I really try to keep them affordable. Like, they start at $12 and go up to $30. They're not expensive.
Yeah, we're all about like spreading the love more than like trying to cash in. We're all about like people enjoying it, and we get a lot of people saying, "Oh, like our wedding was Jack Skellington and Sally based." Right. And so this one that you have with Jack and Sally is perfect for our household. And we're like, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it's a great way of just being able to connect with people because they identify with the characters. And then we found different ways to incorporate those characters into things like displays. Mm-hmm. And then our next big item was we started building custom-made chessboards. And that came from a customer. Literally someone coming up and seeing us at a show and said, "Oh, I thought these were chess games." And I said, "They're not, but they could be." And before you knew it, like we were building Marvel versus DC chess sets, or Clone
Dark
Wars.
side, light side. For
Did you
Star
rig it
Wars.
so one always won over the other?
No.
Like, you're like your team Marvel and you're going to make sure Marvel always wins?
I am Team Marvel, but yeah, it would. I would be hard pressed to say that Marvel would always win.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's. But no, I mean it's fun. What's fun about building the chess sets is then how do you identify which characters become what chess pieces?
Right.
So like pawns are really or pawns can be hard, but pawns sometimes are really easy. Like Star Wars, pawns are super easy. Like you have your stormtroopers.
Right.
That's an easy, obvious pawn. But who's like when it comes to the Jedis, okay, well, Princess Leia makes an obvious queen and like Luke makes the king or whatever. And then the Emperor and Darth Vader might be your king and queen for the dark side, right? But then when it comes to Marvel, well, who's your queen and king there, right? Like, so it's just fun to kind of, well, this guy's more of a rook or this guy's more of a bishop, right? And so we just have fun building out the sets and then
We let the customers make the decision
Yes.
a lot of the times what they are, but then we provide them with a cheat sheet of who's
what?
Yes.
what. Yeah.
so they can reset, right?
Right.
But we make it collaborative.
What was I'm curious, like, what was it, I guess, that made you think, oh, we're on to something here, like we can actually do this and it can be a business and not just, look, everybody, we all had side hustles.
Yes.
We were bored, like
Yes.
you said. I think we bought the cricket machine and the heat press, right? And we
Yes.
made T-shirts because we were bored.
I had one of those side hustle businesses where I was going to craft shows selling clothing and at different, venues. And we talked about the minifigures a little bit. And then we said, well, why don't we try it at this one show that was coming up? And we brought some stuff and it went over so much better than the clothing did. So much better.
Do you remember what it was that you sold that show?
What I sold? Oh,
The,
or what?
of the figures that you said went over?
Oh, that was Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was pretty much Iron Man and Spider-Man. I had a few pictures made at that time, but not a whole lot. And
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of peak
Yes.
Avengers, though, too, right?
yes,
Like that was
yes.
in the zeitgeist, and we were all...
And it kind of goes like that. Whenever there's a movie out, we sell that character a lot.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was one of the things we'd been doing these craft shows. And one of the things we've noticed is they tend to be very female oriented. There's a lot of products for women, and you'll see these couples and the guy is just looking bored as all get out. Or there'll be a family and the kids are like, I don't want to look at Tastefully Simple, right? and so
I don't need 1,000 ways to say pumpkin spice latte.
Exactly. And so we became all of a sudden the hangout spot for the dads and the kids. And we regularly will have like kids just camp out with us. And they might buy a couple pieces, but honestly, I think we realized we just have a lot of fun with it. And even if we didn't do a lot of sales, we would want to do it just because it's something fun to do.
yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the best part about being an entrepreneur, right? If you
Yes.
find something that you like doing.
Yes.
I really love it when a child comes up to the booth and sees a character that they've always wanted and never been able to find or something, and they light up.
And that's kind of our specialty. Like there's other people who have kind of done the similar thing, and they pack in what's most popular. We like to keep a good variety of stuff, and maybe some of the things that you're not as familiar with. And it's because we will get that kid who's like, oh, you have so-and-so. I have never seen anyone else have that.
Yeah, for instance, the official Lego Harry Potter bathroom set does not come with Moaning Myrtle, the ghost that hangs out in that bathroom.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
It does not.
So we have a Moaning Myrtle. So someone can buy that and add that to their official Lego set.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't look out of place. It works with everything. It fits in all the spots. So that. We try to have like the secondary, tertiary characters
Yeah.
that, you can add into what you already have.
The weird oversights.
Yes.
Exactly.
And ours are only $5 a piece, which, especially if you're somebody who is a Lego collector,
You know that the blind bags are $7.
you don't want your child playing with the pieces that you consider collectibles, because if they lose an arm, then, you have to spend a fortune to replace it.
Right.
Ours are ones kids can play with. You don't have to worry about them losing pieces.
What are some other examples of the kind of the they don't exist but they should, like Moaning Myrtle and
geez.
can
So I
you
could
think of some others?
We have a lot of TV shows that
Yes.
like Lego does not put out. Like we have Walking Dead, Doctor Who,
Oh, that's cool.
The Witcher, Last of Us.
The Last of those are all. We recently got Bluey. Bluey is
Lego might have a
huge
Bluey
with
set by now.
kids.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Lego has Sonic.
Yeah, but it's all the
we
extra
have,
characters.
We have all
The
the
other
extra
characters.
people.
the other
Yes.
characters.
Yeah.
I would think like retro TV shows would be a huge hit.
We have Star Trek. That's been a big.
Yes. Yes.
Lots of horror characters.
Oh, yeah. The horror characters surprised us. Like we got them for a Halloween, and they became really popular even not during
People
Halloween.
who love those movies love
those movies.
those movies.
We have seen so many tattoos.
I bet.
Get like Michael Myers is a very popular tattoo. I did not know this until we started selling the Michael Myers Lego.
Yeah. So we got them basically for a show that was at Halloween time, and then we have them all the time now.
Yeah.
So.
Like I'd love to see like Greatest American Hero.
Oh,
Awesome. Because then it's both, old retro but also superhero still.
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy would be hilarious.
Yes.
We grew up with MASH, so like I know my mom and my
Oh,
brother,
yes.
like just that cast would be hilarious and fun.
Yes.
It'd be hard.
It would be. I was just saying that would be difficult. How do you So some things are easier to identify.
Right.
Right. And then, a whole bunch of people in army fatigues might be a little bit more difficult to distinguish.
Yeah, you'd have to do like the bathrobe for Alan Alda or something.
That would be cute.
Right.
But think about
Klinger in a dress.
think about building the set. The set would be amazing
Set.
with the still
Yeah.
for the swamp.
Right. Yeah. That would be really cool. That would be a lot of fun.
Now you're challenging me just to
Well,
branch out.
I might have been secretly challenging you. I don't know.
Yeah.
This begs the question, because I think there are two types of Legos, any of the toys like that, right?
Yeah.
There are two types of fans, right? There are the builders. Okay, three. There are the collectors. I think that's their own kind of breed. But you're a builder or you're a player.
Yes.
And so like when my son was little, and I have almost all the Legos that I grew up with too.
Yeah.
That we've kept. I can build all day, and I don't really care about building what the sets that they came in. I just like to freewheel and see what I come up with. He wanted to play with the characters and do things and act out and scenes and things. But where did you guys lay in that spectrum, I guess?
well, mostly on the putting scenes together.
Yes.
So play.
So I would say I'm a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to, especially mixing IP, right? Like I like the Hulk smashing, the Darth Vader. Yeah, the Hulk smashing Darth Vader, and then Sonic the Hedgehog running in and like stealing something, right? Like I think that's hilarious, and it drives my creativity. So that's where I really, so I would probably put myself as a player.
I like that. Like that.
But
Lori?
Definitely player because, like I said, I like to make the funny signs. So
yeah.
yeah, I never really was a Lego builder.
As kids, when you got your set, you build it. You build what's in the box, right? You build the thing. What do you do next?
The tear it up, or you Godzilla it.
Yes.
You smash it.
Do you put them back in with the set? Do you keep them together?
no,
or
no.
do you just have a box that you dump everything in?
Or
are you a sort by type?
I became a sort by type as a grandfather, trying to force my grandkids to properly play with the Legos. But no, as a kid, oh no, it was a gigantic bin, and you just smash and put them all in there, and then when you go to rebuild, you're gonna build something totally different. So you're like combing through.
For me, that was part of the fun, was digging through, like trying to find what you thought you needed, but then you'd find something else like, but I can build it this way instead.
Yes.
And at my house in the tub, the container.
Yeah.
I was the oldest of 4 kids, so it was everybody's sets.
Yep.
Were in there. So you would have the princess ones mixed in with the superhero ones. And it was a conglomeration of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I mean, we've had some fun now. Even now, we do some of that, still that kind of similar thought process. So, like, we had a family who was going to Disney World, and they were announcing it to their kids, and they wanted to do like a scavenger hunt type thing with their kids. And so they wanted a Jedi Mickey Mouse. And we're like, well,
you can do that for them.
We can do this by taking
pieces and putting them together
from
with other pieces.
like 2 different figures, right? So we're still doing that, right? We're still like, we took the head off of Mickey Mouse and threw him on the body of a Jedi, and then gave him a lightsaber, and it was, I mean, the finished product was amazing.
They were cute.
That's fun.
It was super cute, and the family was really nice, and they took pictures, and showed us like their kids having fun, like doing the scavenger hunt, to find out that they were going to go to, galaxies and in Disney World.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So
and
we're
I like
still
traveling
doing
with Legos.
that. We're yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We still like mix and match and build something new.
Are there some things that you like? Is there a scene or a set that you want to build? I don't want to say set, because set means it already exists.
Yes.
But is there a scene or something that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, geez.
Well, he's really into Dungeons and Dragons, so
yes.
we really want to get. Lego came out with Dungeons and Dragons characters, so we want to get into that and expand.
Our friend hasn't been able to put together the molds yet for us to do what we want to do.
Dragon molds would be hard.
Yes, very specific. In Dungeons and Dragons has a very specific following, right?
Yes.
There's a storyline, there's specific characters, you need specific pieces to identify those characters. So it's a project that I really am looking forward to doing, but I think a whole line of Dungeons and Dragons and doing some scenes with Dungeons and Dragons.
I think that would also be a little scary, because that's a fandom that if you don't do it to spec, you're going to know.
We have people come up to the booth all the time and say things like, that's
the wrong color.
That's not quite right.
We're like, yeah, we know.
Well, so the nerd in me is like, when you say Dungeons and Dragons, are you talking about the game? Are you talking about the Dragonlance books? Are you talking about the cartoon from the 80s?
Well, so I'm talking about Dragonlance mostly. Because that has the longest storyline.
Right.
It would be even harder for the game, in general, because so you would need a paladin
Right.
with every single creature type.
Right.
Right.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, how do you narrow in? Because there's
Yeah.
so much. And when you say Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like, you ask 30 people, you're going to get 30 different answers.
100%. 100%.
And all the 29 others will be wrong, according to that person.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, so that's where I just want to be creative.
Yeah.
And I just want to make my own. I don't I want to be able to also service people, but I think it's going to be a matter of people just tell me what they want and I'll figure it out. But I won't have like a set line because I don't think you can do that.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what the people who make miniatures, right? I think that's what they run into is there's an incredible line. Like, and imagine all the monsters.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to have all the monsters, there's hundreds.
And I would think, too, that people, what they want is whatever image was in their head when they read these books.
Yes.
And it may not be what the authors or the game makers had in mind, but it's that's the sign of a great book as a kid, right?
Exactly.
When you can just have it, the movie plays in your head while you read.
Exactly. Totally agree. And so that's why we've shied away from some things, and we've stuck to we stuck to a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. Why? Well, because it's right there on the screen. You know exactly what it looks like. You can identify it. But yeah, it's when you start getting into allowing like an open source, because Wizards of the Coast allows you to come up with anything for Dungeons and Dragons, basically. And it's just open. So that would be very difficult to narrow it in. But I'd say that's one area I really want to build out. I would love to. I don't know how it's going to happen. So we'll see, right?
Well, you said you kind of want to let customers come to you and kind of ideas. So, Laura, I do want to ask you about this one because you had told me the other day that one of the things you've gotten into is people were asking you for the Taylor Swift and the Travis Kelce stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously here in the KC area, right? Like you can't go anywhere. If you are making anything and not making Tay-Tay and Travis Kelce, then you're missing out. What's it been like to kind of delve into that world and the requests that, everybody's looking for everything Swift and Kelce and Chiefs.
Right. So we got almost every era of Taylor you can think of, we have. But the hard one was Kelce because the NFL only licenses for the figures a generic player. So it will have 00 on the shirt.
Right.
It says Chiefs and NFL and all that stuff, but it's a generic player. And so I have made some pictures with Taylor and Kelce, and I've had to actually paint the figure. And I've made a Patrick Mahomes one that I had to paint, but I don't make a ton of those. Sorry, I'm banging. Yeah, so that was the hard part. We couldn't get specifically Kelce.
When you're making those the sets and scenes that you put in frames and you do, what are you? So with that, what are you kind of trying to do that's a little bit different? And because I feel like there's so many. There.
The ones I've made, they say things like, in my Kelce era, I want to be your end game. So I take like a lyric or a quote from a movie or something that I find funny and put it in the frame with the figures. So that's where we get.
She also does a really good job of finding things that mean something to people. So it has to connect. We've done things where people have been like, oh, that makes sense for our family, right? And people ask her for specific things, and she'll do custom.
Yeah, I can definitely do custom pictures. You just tell me what figures you want and what you want it to say, and I can make it. It's not a problem at all.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah, I take, like with Lilo and Stitch, my favorite line from that movie is "broken but still good." And so I made a frame that said that. And of course, Ohana Means Family is the big one from that movie.
Right.
But I try to get some of the ones that get you in the fields.
Just punch them right in the field.
Yeah.
Every time. Well, that begs then the question. People are listening. They maybe they want to reach out. They want to ask for some custom things. How can they do that?
Oh, the easiest way is to email us. And our email is just our name. It's Phillori. So PHILLORI .figures with the PH. PHIGURES @gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook. Again, Phillori Phigures, spelled with PHs. And then we do have a phone number, and you can honestly just come see us here
In Lee Summit at Downtown Days.
Yes.
And we're going to do a special if you're listening to this podcast and you come up to the booth at Downtown Days and tell us that you heard us. We'll give you a free figure.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
So just come up and make sure you mention that you heard about us on the podcast and pick your figure.
We'll have to make sure we remind people of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Downtown Days, first full weekend of June. So is that 4, 5, 6? Is that right?
Yep.
I'm not looking at a calendar.
No, you're right.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Julie Cook at Downtown's going to get mad at me if I'm wrong. She usually yells at me anyway.
She's super nice.
She's the best.
She is.
She is the most off. She's been on the show more than anybody else in town.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, we like her a lot.
We love Julie.
Yeah.
That's it, Julie. I'm not saying it ever again.
But look for us around town if you're out at a craft show. Tonight we're in Tonganoxie at the Whiskey Ridge venue. Saturday we're going to be at Franklin Smith Elementary School. We try to hit all the big street fairs, Blue Springs Fall Fun Fest, Santa Caligon. But
that keeps you busy.
Yes.
That's a lot of weekends.
And if you have an event at your school or church or something, give us a call. We'll be glad to get a space and put up our stuff for you.
We love being something different at people's like vendor events, and they have plenty of MLM and other things. We add something new and exciting to people's vendor events. So feel free to contact us, and if we have an open weekend, we will absolutely travel anywhere in the KC metro area.
I've in the back of my head this whole time. I'm trying to think if I were going to order custom, what would it be? I don't know. There's so many possibilities out there.
I know.
I love what you guys are doing. That kind of that creative path that you've taken because it's different. It seems so much fun.
We do have a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun with it, and it has become this accident that just keeps growing, and we take new ideas from other people, and it just
my son who helps us insisted that we started carrying anime figures, so we have a lot of anime figures now.
We don't know who they are even.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. The kids know.
Right.
The kids it's terrifying when the kids walk up and they know all the Five Nights at Freddy characters. And I'm like, you realize that for Gen X person like myself, that show's terrifying. Because I think of my time at Showbiz Pizza, and I'm like, those machines were going to kill me.
Yes.
Yes. And now I have a Lego of it.
So I'm going to assume that we are of similar ages or close-ish. We always told our son that, it's not Showbiz Pizza. It's not open on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I think we did that with McDonald's a lot too.
Yes.
Oh, they're not open today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what I did with my son when he wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese, I said, how about Chinese cheese? Because I wanted to go to a Chinese restaurant.
There you go.
That worked once.
Well, awesome. Let's do one more time the email address and the Facebook page if people want to find you.
Yes. So email is PHILLORI .PHIGURES @gmail.com. And again, same thing for you can find us as Phillori Phigures on Facebook.
Awesome.
Spelled with PHs.
Awesome. Well, Phil, Lori, Phillori Phigures, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
that'll wrap us up for this week. We'll talk to everybody next time.